Today I'll be reviewing the Chanel Le Beige Water Fresh Tint, newly available at ULTA. It's $65. This doesn't come cheap, so let me help you decide if this one's for you. So today in the Chanel Le Beige, I will be wearing the shade Light, and we will definitely be talking about shades in a moment. But first, let's talk about what you get in the box. So you get your classic Chanel foundation bottle. This one is plastic. You get a little instruction manual, and this one actually comes with a little brush, which is nice. It's very dense on top, but it's also soft. It's not a scratchy brush. So I would say it's a pretty good bonus. So here's our little cast of characters, and luckily this comes in a pump bottle, which I really like. Now let's talk shades. If you look at the shade that I'm holding up right now, it looks a lot more bronze than my skin. And when I was looking online, because unfortunately I don't have a Chanel counter near me, it was very confusing when looking up swatches, so I got the lightest shade available. But as you'll see here, as I'm blending it out, this bronze color goes very, very light. So I have to say, I wish I had gone with a deeper shade. Because this is so sheer, I feel like a deeper shade would have just added a little healthy glow to my skin. And to try to help out further, the top is just one pump directly from the bottle, not blended out. And the bottom swatch here is with it blended out. So I hope this helps you if you have to figure out online like I did what shade you need to go for. And just for comparison here, we have the Chanel Le Beige in the center, and then on top we have the Neutrogena Healthy Skin Anti-Aging Perfector in Fair to Light 20, and on the bottom the number 7 Protect and Perfect in Porcelain, and this is under indoor lighting. And then we have the same exact swatches with natural lighting coming in from the window. Now this comes in 8 shades, which doesn't seem like a lot, but because it's so sheer, which you'll see in a moment, this is really going to cover a wide range of skin tones. And on to application, and I'm doing this as the Chanel pamphlet recommends, which is to put a drop on the back of your hand and then swirl the brush through it to break up the micro droplets, and then start from the inside of the face working outward to blend it out. And as far as texture goes, this is made up of 75% water, so it feels very light, it feels very gel-like going on. And in fact, they advertise it as giving you a burst of hydration when you first put it on, and then it's supposed to offer hydration for up to 8 hours afterward. And while I'm blending this out, let me just mention that this request came from one of my lovely subs to try out this foundation, which is exactly what I'm here for, to try out a foundation for you before you go out and spend your hard-earned money on it. And if you wouldn't mind helping me out by pressing that subscribe and like button, I'm really trying hard to grow my channel. I appreciate all of your comments. I read every single one and try to respond as quickly as I can. And I just thank you so much for your support. Okay, so here we are finishing out our first layer on the left side. And I'm going to look straight on here so you can see if you can detect any difference between the sides here. And normally I don't do close-ups when I don't have foundation on the right side of my face, but I want you to see just how sheer this is. So this side has the foundation and that side doesn't. So I was asked whether or not this covers freckles, hyperpigmentation, and as you can see from the pictures, it really doesn't cover a whole lot. In fact, the first time I tried it on, I wasn't sure if there was any coverage to it whatsoever. It wasn't until yesterday when I was rather warm in my beauty room when I was trying this on that I had some unusual redness in my cheeks, and I was able to see that some of the redness was slightly dulled down a little bit. So in an effort to see if I could create a little bit more coverage with it, I decided to go in with my fingers on the forehead. And you can see that as I'm blending out with the fingers, this is giving me slightly more coverage. But I do have to say, as it dries, it really, really blends out again to almost nothing. So after the initial application with my fingers, I decided to use the brush to kind of blend it out. And I'd like to take this moment to stress that I don't have any issue whatsoever with light coverage foundations. I like having a variety of foundations to choose from. What I found a little funny though was Chanel claiming that this was a light to medium coverage foundation. I feel like that at most, this is a light coverage. So as you can see from my experiment on the forehead, I think this applies much better with your fingers. Do I like that they give you a free brush with it? sure, I love a good gift with purchase, but I really feel like the brush kind of absorbs a lot of it to the point where it looks like you almost don't have anything on your skin. So I would definitely recommend just applying with fingers. So my next experiment is now going back in again on the left cheek to see if I can build this up. Now, as you remember, we went in here first with the brush, but I wanted to see, now that I know that the fingers work better to apply this, if I could build it up. And while I'm doing that, let's go ahead and talk about the price. So Ulta now offers some Chanel products online, which is where I purchased this. And this is definitely a pricey foundation. It comes in at $65 US, which is the priciest foundation that Ulta offers from Chanel. So I try really hard not to see any reviews before I try out a foundation for myself. Now, sometimes I will try out a foundation, like I did with this one. I'll get my own opinion, and then I'll go look at reviews because I'm curious about what people are saying. And I was not surprised at the reaction to this foundation. It was very much a love it or hate it foundation. So those that loved it loved that it looked undetectable on the skin, they loved how fresh it looked, and those that didn't like it felt that they were paying, $65 for something that barely showed up on their skin. So here's who I think will love this. If you're someone who does not like to look like you're wearing makeup, if you already have pretty good skin, you just want to even out maybe a little bit of redness, or if maybe you're more a fan of the French makeup aesthetic. I heard it described really beautifully in an article once where they said, American makeup is more transformative, whereas French makeup is more enhancing. And I thought that was just a lovely way of saying it. But the French makeup aesthetic does focus a little bit more on just really fresh skin, only having a little bit of concealer, a tiny bit of foundation where you really need it, and then enhancing one feature like a smoky eye or a red lip. But it's a lot more easy breezy, I would say, than American style makeup. And of course, these are all just very broad generalizations, of course. The fun thing about makeup is that we can all do it the way that we want to do it and the way that makes us feel really good about ourselves. So as I mentioned earlier, I wish I had gone with this in a deeper shade. I think this would look really lovely over my self-tanner, because when I have self-tanner on, I don't like to have a heavy foundation over it. But as it was with this pale shade, I felt like I kind of just had to keep adding, powder and highlighter and blush and bronzer, kind of just trying to make myself feel good in it. So my suggestion to you, if you think you might like this foundation but you're a little nervous about the price point, you might want to give the Neutrogena Healthy Skin Enhancer a try. It's a tinted moisturizer and it's not an exact dupe for this, but it has a very similar level of coverage, and it would give you a chance to try out something that's $12.99 versus $65 first to see if you like that level of coverage. And I promise that is not an ad for Neutrogena. It is just a friendly foundation lady suggestion. I hope you have a beautiful day. Thank you so much for liking, subscribing, and commenting, and I'll see you soon with another foundation video.